Then a Sports Centric, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the 2023 Guaranteed Rate Bowl matchup between the Kansas Jayhawks and the UNLV Rebels. Two teams that have had great seasons getting to this point. You got Kansas, 8-4 on the season. Another successful season for Kansas. I mean, it feels like this is a team that's been just dead in the Big 12 for so long. But this team has found a way to have some success the past couple of years. And they're taking on UNLV, a team that's also been pretty terrible in recent time, but they've found a way to 9 wins this season. You got two programs here that have had great seasons and definitely have bright futures. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get over their team trends. Kansas beat Cincinnati 49-16 to finish out the regular season, so dominant win for the Jayhawks. This team is an 8-4 team that honestly could be a 9 or 10 win team at this current point. You consider the close losses this team has taken. I mean, 3 of their 4 losses have come within a score, and 2 down the stretch were within 4 points. The Texas Tech game, a loss by 3. The K-State game, a loss by 4. So, I mean, Kansas is 8-4, but honestly, this could be a 9 or 10 win team at this current point if they got it done in a couple of those close games. But as for UNLV, they lost to Boise State 20-44 in the Mountain West Championship, so obviously a disappointing outcome there, but still a 9-win season for UNLV, a team that's really been irrelevant in college football for almost pretty much a decade. Definitely a successful season nonetheless for the Rebels. Games be on Tuesday the 26th in Phoenix. Is 9 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going Kansas by 12.5 here, so the Jayhawks are a heavy favorite here, which, I mean, the records are the same between these two teams pretty much. Both teams are programs that typically don't have much success, but have definitely come alive this season once again. I mean, but I do think Kansas being a favorite by 12 here, it makes sense once you look further into it. Over under 64.5, and the FPI is going Kansas as well, 72%. You look at the bowl history for both teams, Kansas 6-7 overall. This team was in their first bowl game since 2008 last season. They took on Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl, which was an incredible game. The Jayhawks did end up losing at 55-53. So obviously Kansas looking for their first bowl win in quite a while. They obviously had that run in 2007, 2008 where they were actually a national contender. I think that was 2007. Yeah, they were in the Orange Bowl in the end. What a season that was. But for Kansas, for this team to find some success once again is honestly a pretty cool story for college football. But you look at UNLV, they are 3-1 in bowl season. This team has only been to 4 bowl games in their team's history. Their last one was back in 2014. It was the 2013 season where they were in the Heart of Dallas Bowl against North Texas, lost that game. And so their last bowl win was in 2000. It's been 23 years since we last saw UNLV win a bowl game. Stat comparison, Kansas 26th in points per game, 64th in points allowed. This is a team that's pretty strong offensively, in particular in the rushing game. They obviously got Devin Neal, who's a huge standout. He's going to have a bright future in the NFL. 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns on the season. He's definitely a name to keep an eye on. And obviously, you can't help but wonder. I mean, this is a team that Jalen Daniels has been an incredible quarterback the past couple of seasons. Problem is, he hasn't been able to avoid injury, and the quarterback situation has kind of been a question mark this season for the Jayhawks because of those injuries. Jason Bean, for a time, was also injured. So, I mean, you can't help but wonder with this offense, if Jalen Daniels was healthy the entire time, the past couple of seasons, the Jayhawks could honestly have won the Big 12 this season. That would have been a possibility, I think. But defensively, though, that is something that holds this team back at times. They have the 100th ranked rush defense in the country. So honestly, even if this offense really was elite and played at a higher level, the defense might hold this team back. They were 46th, or are 46th in pass defense this season, so they've allowed a decent amount of points, but they've also had some impressive performances on defense as well. You look at the Texas Tech game, allowed 16 points there, just the offense couldn't get anything going. So we've seen both sides of the ball shine at times for Kansas. It's just about getting both sides to click in the same game, and we saw that against Cincinnati to finish out the regular season. But as for UNLV, 22nd in points per game. This is a team that's better on offense than defense, kind of similar to Kansas. They're 51st in passage game, 41st in rush yards, so a pretty balanced offense as well. You got Maeva, who is the quarterback for UNLV, who's put up nearly 2,800 yards of passing, 14 touchdowns, 8 picks. Not a bad season for him. And obviously the main name, though, is Ricky White for UNLV. He's put up nearly 1,400 receiving yards on the season, 7 touchdowns. the lead receiver by a big margin, so he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Your recent matchups: Kansas beat Cincinnati, lost to K-State by 4, lost to Texas Tech by 3, so a couple of close losses there. Honestly, Kansas could have won both, and if they did, I mean, a 10-win Kansas team, honestly, is very much within the reason for this team. So it's just those close losses. But they beat Iowa State by a touchdown, beat Oklahoma 38-33. What a game that was for Kansas to finally beat OU after how many years? It was, what, a couple of decades? So long time since Kansas has beaten OU. And then for UNLV, they lost to Boise State, lost to San Jose State. So a couple of tough losses for the Rebels to finish out this season. They beat Air Force by 4, beat Wyoming, beat New Mexico, though, before that. So, this team was pretty dominant in the earlier parts of November. Your key points: Kansas 8-4, another season of success for the Jayhawks. They got, I mean, this offense is really talented with Jason Bean. It's pretty cool, though. I mean, you consider Jalen Daniels, how talented of a player he is. The best quarterback Kansas has had in a long time. And then you lose him, and turns out Jason Bean is a guy that's pretty talented as well. He hasn't been a huge standout, but he's gotten the job done for the Jayhawks. That's the best way you can describe it. And when Jason Bean was out, obviously it turned to Cole Ballard, who was maybe a step lower. But either way, this team has found a way with the weapons they have. And obviously Devin Neal is a huge part of this offense, who's once again put up 1,200 yards on the season, 15 touchdowns. So he's a true threat. And once again, 3 of their 4 losses came within a touchdown. This is a team that could be better than the record shows. You look at UNLV, this is a balanced team, but offense is the main strength. Ricky White especially dangerous. He's had a great season. And, I mean, for UNLV, I mean, coming into this bowl game, the first bowl appearance for this team in 10 years. Haven't won a bowl game in 23 years. I mean, it's cool to see what UNLV has done this season, finally finding some success once again. But with that, let's get a prediction here for Kansas and UNLV coming up here in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. And in the end, I'm going with Kansas here. 31-24 is my predicted final score. So I think the Jayhawks find a way. This is a game that might be closer than some might think. Kansas is a 12.5-point favorite for this matchup, which I feel like is kind of aggressive. I think Kansas is the better team in this matchup, especially with how they've played in the past month or so. But I think Kansas finds a way, but it might be closer than, once again, what people might think. So I'm going to say 55% towards the Jayhawks, over under 64.5. I think that's pretty high as well, so I'm taking the under and UNLV to cover the spread in the end. I mean, it's an interesting matchup. You got 2 teams that haven't won a bowl game in forever, 2 teams that are just starting to find some success once again. Really great seasons for both teams, so definitely want to keep an eye on here in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. But with that, let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup, your score predictions, all of that. My name's Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.